doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters. I think it's all the same thing.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black. I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, because I'm black.
You know, I enjoy. Welcome to Films of Black and White, everybody.
Right one.
That's okay. We get to play intro roulette. Like, we don't really know which intro we're gonna get.
Yeah,
we put them in the bowl, we put them in the hopper, and we just spin one out. How is everybody feeling? It is a great day to be with you all. Great day to podcast. I am Doug, the Doug Wagner, aka Tito the Elven Thief. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do that.
I didn't say anything. Didn't say anything.
We are going to be talking Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. So we're excited to break that down for you. We're also going to be chatting Secret Invasion trailer and Blue Beetle trailer, which is super exciting. So we're going to kind of go over those things. But in order to do it right, in order to do it well, I got to kick it on over to my lovely and fantastic co-host, Bryan Roush, aka Dragonborn Berserker. How you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling great to be here because one, Dungeons and Dragons was a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to talk about it with you all. I'm also happy to be here because I spent most of the weekend dealing with house stuff, like really boring adult house stuff, and now we're doing a new project because we had water on the ground floor, so it's like it was terrible. So but I'm looking at it as an opportunity, and my wife and I were like, what's our next house project? And the universe said, this is it. This is your house project.
That's what we're gonna do.
So we affectionately call our family room the Bat Cave. So we're basically just gonna redo everything in the Bat Cave. That's where we do all the video games and the movies, and where we keep all of our board games. So really excited to kind of like trick out that area now. So
now, Bryan, nothing was ruined, was it?
I mean, like, we have carpet there, so like that it's gone. But none of the other furniture, like, we were kind of lucky in that regard. Like, we dodged a bullet there. So really, it's just like we don't have carpet in that room right now, and everything's askew. But that's okay because we're going to redo it. So again, I'm looking at it as an opportunity. So I'm super happy to concentrate on this podcast and be here in this moment.
And not on the opportunity.
How do you and Maggie like in that family space? What is the general vibe? What are you going for? Like, how do you reach a common vibe there?
I mean, basically, so for her, she likes it dark all the time. Like, if there's lights on, she's like, she like hisses at it. I'm kidding. If you're listening, honey, I know you don't hiss. You don't like snakes.
But... Maggie, you and I should design houses, because I would design them with maybe 3 lights. Because
God,
she would love that.
Goddamn lights on. Like, turn the lights off.
Yes.
Everybody just turn the lights off. Like, and Brittany comes in and she'll be like, "Why is it so dark in here?" I was like, "Because I enjoy it." She's like, "I can't see anything." I'm like,
I'll say this: Doug's house is very dark. When he leaves and I have to go dog sit, I will run into a fridge at least. I shoulder check the fridge at least twice when I'm going in there, because sometimes I gotta open the garage first, leave the door open, and then find the switch and then go back and close it, because it do be dark in there.
And I don't have a problem with that, but like I gotta have some light. So we've had this push and pull, and we got to a point where we had like ambient lighting. So we had like some twinkle lights here, and like we got a big old lamp if we really need it. But like if it's on, she's like, "Why is this on?" And it's like I have to state why it's on. So the nice part is like we can now actually like get furniture that has like that built-in lighting now, or like we can do it ourselves. So it's gonna be good for everyone involved, so we don't have to worry about the light situation.
That's hilarious.
I love it. That's great. And way to see the bright side, because not everybody would, and I have been there before, and it is not fun. So a tip of the hat to you, sir. On the
shucks, really leaning into the opportunity, even if I'm sick of it. But yeah, there we go. That's I appreciate that. I'm happy to be here to talk about this stuff.
You're saying opportunity out loud. On the inside, I envision a man holding a beer, going, "It's an opportunity," like shaking from the
just
trauma.
rocking back and forth. Like
every time Bryan mentions like a house activity, all I can think of is the Toys R Us thing. I don't want to grow up.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't want any of those problems no time soon.
And honestly, that's fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, everyone, like I feel like so many people growing up like, yeah, I'm gonna get a house, and then I'm just like, honestly, like you don't know. You're. I mean, it's good. Like, yeah,
get a house. They said it'll be fun. They said,
you know, you can do more stuff with it. But there's all the ownership. So you really got to
have a kid. I could take my kid to fun stuff, but then I gotta like take care of my kids.
Yeah,
make sure they don't die and whatnot.
That's the big one.
Yeah, that's funny because I took my 1-year-old Aiden out today, and it was like his first time being outside, and he's like, "What's this? A street? I'm gonna run in it." So I get
it. Aiden, let's slow down.
Screaming freedom!
just like, oh, look at this! Do you see this? There's a giant road out here.
There's a whole playground. But we also need to introduce Marcus J. Destin, aka Milk with My Cocoa Puffs. Marcus, how you feeling?
It's good. Why, Bryan? Why are you looking like that?
Why are you Milk with My Cocoa Puffs, Marcus? Because why is that your handle?
It was all I could think about during Dungeons and Dragons that Chris Pine slept with a black woman. So it's from the Black Eyed Peas song. Mix your milk with my cocoa puff, milky, milky, right? And it was the only thing that kept playing in my head every time he showed his wife on the screen, and I was like, "This guy's down with the swirl." So it was the only thing that I could think about the entire time. I swear, I couldn't get it out of my head. I was like, "Look at this guy."
That's wow. You know what?
Okay.
I'm really sad we didn't see that together now. Like,
that was
such a weird moment.
Yeah, it was. Wow. It was the one moment, the one time me and Doug were just not in sync.
We were not on the same page.
No.
It doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it's
it's
incredible. You know what? And it also leaves everyone else flabbergasted because Brittany went, "How did you guys mess this up?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like,
and you know what? Doug's like, "It's my fault." And I'm saying out loud, like, "No, this was my fault. I completely misread the poster. I have no idea why I thought they were only showing it at 1:00 on Saturday and Sunday." Yeah, right. And I thought it was assumed because he sent the flyer, was like, "We're going this weekend, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Mm-hmm. And the flyer has like 7, or it has like 4, 7, and then it had a little special one that's different that was like 1 p.m. Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So when he sent it, I saw the difference in the flyer this time and was like, "Oh, it says 1 p.m. Saturday and Sunday." So in my mind, I read that as they only got one showing and it's at 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. So I didn't communicate a time with Doug. I just went to the theater at 1 and was texting.
Oh, that's
him
amazing!
It was hilarious. And then he texted me at 12:58. He goes, "You know it's at 1, right?" And I was like, "Oh, is that when we're going?" Like,
he usually beats me to the theater, and
I usually do.
Like when we go to the theater, they know, they're like, okay, if they see Bryan, if they see Marcus, they're gonna see Doug. Or they see Doug, they know Marcus is coming.
Yeah.
They was like, "Is Doug just not coming?" I was like, "I'm gonna just meet him inside," and they just laughed. And then I don't know what the hell happened, funny. But we here.
You know what though? That reminds me of like the 90s, and just hang with me here. But like, we didn't oh god, it sounds so old. But we didn't have cell phones, right? So like, if you're in school and you're like, "Okay, everybody, we're going to the 7:30 showing of Dungeons and Dragons. Mike's mom is gonna pick us up at 5:45. We'll meet at the Sbarro." Like, it just like, if you miss that train, that's it. There's no.
We will meet at the Aunt Annie's entrance, everybody. Annie's entrance.
How long do you wait for people when they don't show up to the thing? You know what I mean? In those situations, he was like, we told them the time. If something didn't happen, like, should we call the person? Is something going on? So,
and I was always the guy in the group that was like, fuck them, they'll figure it out. Like, I was like,
me too. I'll be real. Like, no, I'm not getting a payphone.
They'll get in there. Yeah,
I'm not gonna call their mom. Like, no, we're moving.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here. And you know what? We saw.
How are you feeling, Elvin Thief?
I am doing quite well. Y'all, it was a beautiful weekend here in Vermillion. It was 60 degrees. It was sunny. It was fantastic. And I am working with Harrison on riding his bike sans training wheels.
Oh, yeah.
We've got bike riding down. We are working
Harrison.
on it.
All right.
And I'm going to tell a short story about how Harrison embarrassed me in a church parking lot because I was looking for somewhere flat where we could really kind of get some space where I could run and not worry about like going into the street. See Brian's previous description. Like worry about not going into the street or falling because of crack in a sidewalk. So go to this church parking lot, and Harrison was not having this. And in the middle of the parking lot, he's like, "Mommy, don't do this, Dad!" like the entire time. And my response was like, "Okay, we don't have to." I was like, "When you stop yelling, we'll stop riding the bike." Like it was a scene in the parking lot. So
Harrison always picks the right times. No, Daddy, no.
Yep, Harrison knows. And here's the thing: it's not like we went at like 2:00 on a Saturday. Yeah. We went at 4:00, and it's Easter, so they're gearing up for Saturday night mass. And so this priest is like sweeping the entryway and listening to this what sounds like abuse taking place in the middle of his parking lot. So it was a whole thing. But all in all, it was a great weekend. It's a great week. Excited to talk about this movie. Just enjoy.
I have a thing that I want to just bring up. I had a random memory. I had to drive to Sioux Falls twice.
Okay.
Yesterday and this morning. I know.
Damn.
I know. I had to find things for the TED Talk on tomorrow, and so there is no close by clothing stores or malls, and malls are kind of dying, right? Like we know this. Like we know malls are dying. So they have shit inside of the stores that they just don't have a lot of options lately.
They really don't.
It's just ass. Anyway, that's not the point of my story. I was walking out of JCPenney and this random memory hit me, right? And so I was walking out of JCPenney and I was thinking about the first time I watched the Avengers movie, right? The first Avengers movie.
Okay.
And it was I can't remember where I was at the time, if I was in Virginia or if I had to have been in Virginia at the time or something. It was around Black people. And let me tell you how I remember. Because Captain America comes out and he says this line, right? He says, Loki's telling people, bow down to me, I'm a god, essentially.
Yes.
He says something along the lines of, we don't bow to any man or something like that. And the God I know doesn't dress like that or something like that.
There's only one God and he doesn't dress like that.
Thank you. I knew Brian would know. There's only one God and he doesn't dress like that. All I remember, and it was just a random memory that hit me as I was in the parking lot, was a Black lady next to me saying, "I know that's right," and she starts speaking in tongues. "I know that's right." Amen. I was like, oh. I was like, oh, okay. So that's okay, got it. So it was just a real funny moment.
That's hilarious.
Black people riding for Captain America because he was like, "There's only one God I serve, and he doesn't dress like that." And they was like, "Amen, brother.
You got it.
Amen."
I want to check in with those same people when they watch Endgame or Infinity War, and like Groot shows up and he's like, "I'm Groot," and like Steve's just like, "Hey, tree alien. All right, what's up? All right, let's bash these other aliens now."
Steve Rogers is the epitome of just natural, genuine inclusion. Like he's not gonna flinch. You see a tree person and a raccoon, I'm not asking no questions. Let's just get to fighting.
Fair point.
Okay, my friend showed up with the tree and the raccoon. Okay, all right, let's go.
I trust him because my good friend ain't gonna hang around no bad people.
Fair point.
You know what I mean? Like
it's true.
That's incredible. I don't think I remember where I was. I want to say I saw this movie with Bryan, but I don't remember how or why.
The original Avengers?
Yeah.
I unfortunately
probably
did not see together. This was 2012 of May, and I had just turned in my last assignment for my grad program.
I know where it was.
I had a midnight. We had a midnight showing. Maggie and I did. And she was like, "You turn in this assignment, like you're done with grad school, and you get to see Avengers." So it was a pretty great night.
Okay, I think I remember where I was. Yeah, I think I was in Kentucky I was in North Dakota at the time, so we most definitely did not see that.
That was 2012. Yeah, I definitely was coming. That was North Carolina, right before I went to go play football.
Oh wow!
I was in 11th grade.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I graduated
the middle child of grades.
Yeah. It was graduated 2013, so I was definitely in Virginia at the time.
All right.
Crazy.
Look at us.
Look at us, huh?
Where were you when the Avengers came out?
Yeah,
That's how we're measuring life.
Always remember.
Never forget. Never forget.
Never forget.
Well, gentlemen, we are gonna play a little game that we like to call Catch That Quotable.
Hell yeah,
So we got a quote coming in from the Patreon. So, gentlemen, are you ready for this week's quote?
Yeah, hit me.
Locked and loaded.
Hit me.
All right.
Hit me.
Thanks, Joker.
Every time. Because the thing is you say it and then I do it again, like I do it in my head like a third time.
Come on,
Rack 'em up.
I want you to. All right. You kind of look like a slutty Ebola virus.
Wow. Okay.
That's
All right.
Is
that it?
Say that to me.
Not a Joker quote. That is the quote for this week's Catch That Quotable. You kind of look like a slutty Ebola virus.
Damn. Okay. Clearly a comedy.
It has to be, right?
Two people shooting the jabs at each other, shooting the shits at each other. But what is it?
I don't know. This feels like easy A, but I feel like we've guessed that before.
We have guessed that.
Guessed it.
That's one of our go-to guesses.
It is right. Okay,
we have a couple of safety net guesses, and Easy A is one of the safety net guesses.
Okay, I'm gonna look up the quote and give y'all a hint. How about that? Because I don't want to play this game.
Marcus, ladies and gentlemen, is over it.
Oh, got it. Okay. Do you want a hint or do you want to naturally guess it?
I mean, I'm not gonna get it, so
I'm not gonna get it either.
I'll take the hint.
Okay, this movie is a more recent movie.
Okay,
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Your hint is going to be crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Roman, I want to hit
2018.
Crazy.
This movie came out
in
2018.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus, is this Crazy Rich Asians?
It is in fact Crazy Rich Asians.
It's the only thing I could go back. Like I went back in like my movie titles.
Holy buckets, dude!
No, the only thing that's crazy that would have been recent would have been that.
It's the dress up scene. I probably gave you too much with the hint, but
no, you didn't, because I haven't seen this movie.
It's the dress up scene when they're trying all the different famous popular clothes and stuff like that.
Wow,
way too easy of a hint. I know, Roman.
Maybe this one doesn't count.
I gave him way too easy of a hint. That one doesn't count, but that's okay. We win.
Okay. It's true. That's all that matters. And when we win, you win. Because we get to move on and we don't spend 8 years trying to figure out the quote.
Well, this is part of the podcast. Everybody wants to hit the little 10-second fast forward button. All right.
You don't get me like trying to rationalize how it's easy A. Like everybody wins here.
Like just fast forward. Tell me what it is.
Brian, we know it's not easy A. Just shut up.
We have raised $80 total from Catch That Quotable, though, which will be donated to an organization.
When we pick one,
our choice, we'll pick one. So
yeah, that's right.
$100, we usually make that donation. So keep sending those quotes in. We'll keep raising that moolah. And thank you, Roman Myers.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Roman. Thank you.
Couldn't do it without Roman.
Thing that I want to say because Doug started a thing with me in the chat, so I really want to bring it here.
Oh, all right, I'm glad you are.
The whole Angel Renee and Caitlin Clark. Is that right?
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark situation, right? I'm not going to bask on this too long because do not use the tool and language of quote unquote professionalism and classiness as a tool of hidden racism.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely what that was.
It's easy to fall for the trap if you don't know the difference because naturally things can see it's a competitive sport. People gonna be talking shit. I'm a huge fan of talking shit. I was a fan when Caitlin Clark did it. I'm a shit talker myself, right? And so I was a fan when Caitlin Clark did the John Cena, you can't see me, and I was a fan when Angel Reese did it too. It was just the narratives are very different. So just don't get caught up in the bullshit and enjoy the fact that women's sports was put on this very high pedestal that it always should have been on. And
ladies don't talk like that, though, Marcus.
Oh,
ladies are supposed to go out and perform for all of our enjoyment. I'm being sarcastic for those who are listening. That's sarcasm to the 100th degree. It's a crude double standard. Because on the same hand, these people who are like, she played so well, and like we're 2 weeks ago saying that she was too ghetto, or that she was something she shouldn't have been and needed to act a certain way in that moment. I have different issues with the
Go ahead,
thing.
Doug, plead your case so I can
because here's my issue is that one, Marcus is right. This is what if you want a textbook case of a microaggression. This is absolutely what this is. So I'm going to say that.
So Micro, you don't even know you're saying it when you say it.
100%. Absolutely right. Yeah. Give us the Lightning McQueen on that. 100%. What I will say is my beef comes from with the way that we talk narratively about sports figures these days. Okay. And my issue is that like we tend to talk about like one or two people on a team. Like one or two, period.
Sure.
And what bugs me about that is that the people who like maybe gave a truly magical performance, like we don't talk about them as much. Like great example from the game. Don't get me wrong. Angel Reese played phenomenally. But what we all missed is there was a bench player who came off the bench and scored like 18 points. She had been like 0 for 5 in the tournament from the 3-point line, and she scored 3 of these fucking things in the final game. So we're not talking about her. We're talking about this bullshit exchange between two talented players. And so I get really tired of the let's put one or two players up on a pedestal. I am a big fan of team sports where the whole team wins, the whole team loses. I don't like talking about one or two people. So football and basketball are typically not my sports for this reason.
Okay. And Roman Myers is in the chat. Carson was on fire at the 3-point line. I agree with everything that Doug Wagner says. It's a team sport. You cannot win without one person. What Doug? That's not what he said in the chat, though. Right? He said, what did you say in the chat? Let me go back.
What you said is when I win, you said like when we win, I win and I get a trophy and I stop. I wanted to say what I just said.
This is the full exchange. Doug says, oh no, I'm going to get into the rock news. That's coming later. No. Doug says, I didn't know people were, he talked about the statement. And he was like, his problem was that, the mustache thing.
Vince McMahon's mustache. I could go on for an hour and a half about Vince McMahon's mustache.
So Doug said, you don't have one good game and get to talk shit. That was his quote. Because before he read the article about the narratives that people were placing, you don't get to have one good game and talk shit. I then said, I disagree because if I win, damn it. Doug then says, no, your team won and arguably the bench played better than you. I said, no, we won and I won. I balled out too. Ring me and you can't see me. Here's my thing.
I mean,
bitch, I won.
I mean, at the end, money talks, bullshit walks. So yes, you're right.
You see what I'm saying? Like if we get in the ring, if we all won, we know it's a team sport. I can't pass the ball to myself. I can't throw myself an alley-oop. I can't score the touchdown by myself. We know it's a team sport, right? And then you have the good players that do the post interview and they say, it's because of my team. It's because of my team. It's because of my team. But when I get to that locker room, bitch, I won. I'm turning up. I want the champagne. I want all of it because I won. Damn it. You can't see me. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I know it's a team sport. We did the team thing to get here. Let me have my one moment to slide the ring on my finger and tell you sit on it and twirl, bitch, because I just won.
And you know what's funny is that like this just tells me that I'm not cut out for team sports anymore or sports like this anymore because I don't necessarily care if I win the championship. Like I want the moral victory. Like I don't give a fuck about the selling. I don't give a fuck about any of it. I want to be like, but when the opportunity was to take you down a peg, I didn't.
Oh my God. But listen, I am all about the moral victory on the way there because if I want to win, I want a fair fight. And if I win in a fair fight, you best believe I'm talking my shit because I beat you fair and square.
That's
you see what
true.
I'm saying? And so for me, let me have my one little moment of solo victory where I put in some work too. You know what I mean? My 2 points could have been. It take 2 points could lose a big game. You know what I mean?
A missed free throw loses basketball games all the time.
Changes the entire momentum. So my only point was, I'm gonna talk that shit. That was my only point.
That's fine. And you, again, money talks, bullshit walks.
We are not
you win. It's welcome to sports in black and white, everybody.
This
is the way it is.
That's our spinoff series. That's our spinoff series.
Yes,
with Brittany Wagner. So
with Brittany, because you want to hear somebody talk some shit about basketball. You sit with my wife for like more than 5 minutes.
She commented on my post too, the one that when I shared the post, and I agree with her post 1000%. We are taking away from the main thing. We need to keep the main thing. You know what I mean? Like, these are two good competitors, and shout out to Caitlin Clark for not saying anything. I also don't want Angel Reese to put her foot in her mouth. You know what I mean? Being on this high, and then you say something, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna let you have your moment because we defending you now, but I just don't want it to go too far. But shout out to black women. I just gotta say that. You know what I mean? Shout out to Caitlin Clark. Shout out to women in general. 41 points back to fucking back. And if she would have did that shit again, you damn right Caitlin Clark should have been in that. If she would have dropped 41 in that championship game, she should have been doing this shit all fucking game long.
Well, and I feel like the two of them understand it way more than everybody else talking about it. Like, we met, like we taunted each other. That's what you do. Like
the news is going to profit off of this more than anybody because they want to create the issue between the two of them. They're going to
gotta get that lizard brain dopamine.
Sports drama. There's no storyline if two people don't hate each other and then they go back next year and they play, let's say, in the first round of the tournament and it's a rematch. Like they're writing next year's story right now.
Like Will Smith and Chris Rock.
110%.
What's gonna piss me off about, because I like watching sports shows. Like even when I'm at work, I turn on in our like student center. And I'll turn on like Undisputed or something. They will sit and talk about LeBron James or Tom Brady for the next 5 fucking days. So I can only imagine they are about to stretch this shit out.
We're gonna hear about it for a while. We're gonna hear about it for a while. But we are not a sports podcast. We're a movie podcast. And we had 2 big trailers drop this week. Today, whammies. In fact, usually we have to talk about them next week, but we are very lucky to talk about them today. We got our first look, gentlemen, at DC's Blue Beetle, which I'm surprised we got a look at. I was not expecting it. Happy we got it, but also was not expecting it. And for those that don't know, you can go onto YouTube now. We'll post a link in the episode description so you can go and watch this trailer. Hard to give anything away. It's a trailer. But gentlemen, thoughts on the Blue Beetle trailer that came out today?
Listen.
Marcus has thoughts right out of the gate.
If I want to say, first of all, 10 out of 10. That's how you fucking trailer.
I agree.
Okay,
that's perfect.
That's the right song to pick. It's a new song, young song for a young audience. That song is super hot right now. It's a super TikToky song, and it matches the vibe of what you want to get off of Blue Beetle. That's the first thing I want to say. So absolutely, I rewatched the damn Transformers trailer in the theater, and I was like, man, this trailer would be so good if this song just was not the song.
This song derails that trailer so badly.
It's so bad, man. And I really can't wait for them to come out with the second trailer that doesn't have that song. Here's the second thing I want to say. I'm gonna stand 10 toes on this. If there wasn't as much drama as there was in DC, and Ezra Miller wasn't Ezra Millering it. Right, and they was on
the
top
best
of their
degree
shit.
possible.
And they did what they did. If you would have given me the Flash trailer and then follow up with Blue Beetle trailer, I'll even throw in Shazam just for shits and giggles. Okay,
Zachary Levi's happy about this.
He's very happy.
If it's like
he's relevant,
if Shazam is like a 7 out of 10 and Flash is as good as Flash is as good as Tom Cruise says it is. And
I like how he's the bellwether.
Somehow he became the bellwether. And if Blue Beetle is as good as it looks, DC people will be talking about DC a lot more being on the turning point and changing the fucking game.
It would be the real shift in the DC universe.
It would be the one thing people wouldn't shut the fuck up about, and Marvel wouldn't really have any pushback because Marvel's on a slope. It's on a downward slope right now with all the layoffs. It ain't as many shows coming out. It's not a lot of attention going on to it and stuff like that. That's the only reason DC ain't getting as much attention as it should be.
Yeah. This suit looks, I mean, this was perfect from song selection into what you got to see. They didn't do this shit that they usually do, which is we're not going to show them in a suit.
Right.
You kind of have, like with the way Blue Beetle is. And for those that don't know, Blue Beetle, it's like an alien scarab symbiote thing that basically bonds with Jamie Reyes and gives him the powers that he has. So there's really no way to do it without the suit. And they didn't try to do that. They're like, nope, this is what you need to see. And so it got right to it, which was awesome. I'm genuinely excited about this cast too. Like the cast looks really good.
Full Hispanic cast too.
Yep. Zolo Marduena, I believe is how you pronounce his name, plays Jamie Reyes. He looks awesome. George Lopez is in this.
This looks like a great role for George Lopez.
He
Just
really
need to get that out.
It really does. And then Susan Sarandon's in there, so you got a taste of everything without giving too much away. So this trailer was
and the Easter eggs in the background too. The two suits that you see from the older Blue Beetle and
nice.
I forgot the Cord Industries. Like you get to see all the Beetle that they actually. It's a lot. If you ever get the chance, catch up on some Blue Beetle. I feel like it's a good young, fresh story. He struggles about like being in control, and sometimes the Scarab doesn't give him control. I don't know how I feel about the voice of the Scarab. It sounds a little bit too much like Siri for me.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, that was an interesting choice to me because I was like, this feels very generic and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I was like, maybe they'll change this before the movie. I don't know.
And looking at the cast, Harvey Guillén from What We Do in the Shadows, that TV show, he's not credited when I'm looking at the cast for this movie. I wonder if he's playing the Beetle voice.
Nice. It was a woman. Oh, I thought it was a woman's voice.
It might be, and I could be way off base, but I'm looking at like a cast list, and there's no like unless they give the Scarab a name in the movie, and we just don't know what it is yet. Okay. Like it could be that he's playing it. So, and he could
have been a good opportunity, I think, to get a famous voice for the Scarab, but that's like a little thing compared to how good the trailer is. I love the sword scene too, like. The way that it ended, and she was like, "Good choice." Like I really,
and it feels like this movie also like isn't trying to reinvent the wheel.
No,
like it's okay that this feels like part Iron Man, part Spider-Man, part Green Lantern. Like it's okay that like you do those things well, and then you show us like why we should see this movie. Like it clearly has a heart. The family's at the heart of this. And then the Scarab, clearly we don't know what to do with it, and that's going to be part of the journey. And you get all of that in the trailer, and it also didn't give the whole plot away, which I was just really
which in this day and age is such a feat, Brian.
They always give that.
It shouldn't be. I feel weird saying it, but it's like, okay, he's got the suit and he's doing stuff, and Susan Sarandon's upset about something. Great, let's go.
That's all I need.
And it's a nice change of pace for DC because remember the Shazam 2 trailer, they gave all that shit away. Like right away.
The amount of the finale in that trailer is bonkers.
And so this one, it's like, good. Keep some shit under your hat a little bit so that way we don't have to see it all. So I was fine with this.
Rate the trailer. Out of 10.
It's up there.
I
would say I'm going to give it a 4.
Just stick with me here. 10 out of 10 for DC trailers. I'm looking at the Suicide Squad. Like that trailer, it's bulletproof.
That trailer was awesome.
So it's below that and definitely above like Shazam. It's definitely above Black Adam. It's gonna fit somewhere in there with like Batman versus Superman, probably. Okay. So like I'd say it's like a 7 to 8 out of 10 if I had to give it a number, but it's definitely in the top quarter.
I take that. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I'll give it a just on a DC scale, not like all type shit. Yeah. I think on the same standard that Bryan has.
Yep.
I'll give it a 4.5.
That's how I gave it to. Is like
1.5.
Suicide Squad is probably a bunch of the bellwether for trailers, and this was not as good as that, but still much better than what we've seen recently.
Trailer is probably above that, but a lot of that is the nostalgia behind that
I mean, if you didn't have any of those cameos, it immediately gets to like a 4 or 5 out of 10.
Yeah, easy. Yep. We also got, speaking on the other side of things, we also got a first look at the Disney Plus show Secret Invasion, which comes out on June 21st. Gentlemen, thoughts on the Secret Invasion trailer?
Fire. I mean, that's if I'm going on a scale of 1 to 5, off the ripskis.
I mean, scroll me, baby. That's like I'm ready. Like let's go. We got Oscar Award winner Olivia Colman just chatting to Samuel Jackson. We got Emilia Clarke. I'm ready to go. Like, let's find out what the mystery is. I'm good. Like, it's gonna be the slow burn spy thriller of the summer, and I'm in. I'm 100% in.
It's the tone that I wish Falcon and the Winter Soldier would have done. If I'm being honest, that
on the nose,
feel like that is this is the vibe I would. It's a little bit more serious than I feel like you could do with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because Nick Fury looked like he ain't taking no shit. He took his eye patch off. Was like, "Bitch, you gonna stare at this for 8 episodes?" You know what I mean? Like he's not
look at this foggy eye.
This milky eye. Look into it.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm excited for this one, and I'll say, even going back just to Blue Beetle for a second, I'm excited about this too. Both of these trailers made me excited for what's coming in terms of this respective whatever it is, and so this was awesome. An espionage involving Skrulls. There's something else going on. Sign me up. No questions asked. Sign me up. I'm very excited about this.
I'm excited also because and this is one of the things I really like about Disney Plus. And like people kind of look at me weird when I say this, but like Disney Plus isn't afraid to like get into the niche stuff. And what I mean by that is like they'll do Moon Knight, which was like a paranormal superhero psychological thriller, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was weird, but like it was good in its own right, and it attracted its very own separate audience, in my opinion. Yeah. And I feel like they're doing the same thing here with Secret Invasion. Like, yeah, it's still going to have like the DNA of Disney, but at least it is going for that niche where you have Netflix and Amazon, and it feels like they're pumping out the same show like every few months. Like Amazon, it's like, here's a white guy with a gun coming to Amazon Prime. And Netflix,
white guy with a gun fighting a government. Pick one.
I mean, and you got Netflix where it's just like, hey, did you know that this guy feels this way, but this other person doesn't feel that way? Coming next summer. Like, it's the same vibe every few months.
Do you know what I love? When white people comment on other white people stuff. Because I just feel like I be tripping thinking this stuff, and then just said I didn't connect the dots that is always what comes out. But what is the Night Agent? Like that new show that's on Netflix is the same thing.
I thought I was losing my mind, by the way, because I started watching Wednesday and I saw it and I was like, wait a minute, they already did this show, didn't they? And it was like, no, that's The Bodyguard. There's a different one, or like The Human Target. Sorry. There's also something called The Bodyguard, and I'm like, it's the same show. Yeah. Like, you're making the same show over and over again.
Netflix also has this bad habit of like taking something. Shout out to my mom. My mom made this point, and I'm reiterating it. But they have this thing of like taking something light and being like, no. Make it fucking darker. Like, and so like, hey, did you like
Doug's mom? Yeah.
Did you like the Addams Family? What if it was just Wednesday and much darker? And I was like, God damn, good point. Like,
no, she's right.
Yeah,
like
she's
Lost in Space.
Right.
I don't remember Lost in Space being that dark, but it was extremely dark.
Never that dark.
Extremely dark.
Right. And
I still haven't finished that show. Have they bought it back yet?
I
think they said they're done. I'm pretty sure.
Oh damn, it's been a year. I've been waiting years for that.
There you go.
But yeah, like anyway, all I'm trying to say is like I'm glad Disney Plus is like, here's your weird alien espionage. Did you like weird show, aliens? Nerds.
Here you go.
Yes.
Sign me up. More weird alien espionage. I'm here for it.
I just as some breaking news, ain't really nothing that's important, only like a personal like to me. The Spawn movie apparently is getting a bigger budget. Todd McFarlane just announced that. Okay, they're bringing on a lot more A-list actors. I think Jamie Foxx is supposed to play Spawn.
I feel like you're right.
Oh wow!
I feel like you're right.
He just did an interview where he said they're upping up the budget.
Also, have you ever heard Todd McFarlane talk?
No.
That man is interesting. I would love to talk to him because he's just got such a strong opinion on everything. And he used to work for Marvel, and I was watching a comic book series. Yeah. And when he talks about his time at Marvel, he was like, and I wasn't just going to take that shit lying down. So I walked, and it was like, oh my God. Like, it's so, do your
thing, Todd. Do your thing,
do
baby.
your thing. We have one last piece of news before we're going to get into the movie, and that's because they should make a Mistborn show.
They should make a Mistborn show. Shout out to Roman. I finished the Mistborn trilogy this weekend, and Roman has basically been my ride or die for the entire book series because he's read it, and he's the only person that understands like what I'm going through. So shout out to Roman. I was like texting him the whole time. I can't believe this is happening. This is weird. So that was nice. So shout out to Roman. Read a book.
Shout out to Roman. Roman's a ride or die.
100%. We got an announcement.
I just swallowed my tea and I almost did a spit take when I saw the We Heart MILFs.
I mean,
that's gonna be the first shirt for the Patreon. It's gonna say We Heart MILFs.
Yep. Films in black and white.
Mothers I like to friend.
Mothers I like to film. Well, that doesn't sound good either. That doesn't sound right. that doesn't
okay,
sound good. All right, moving on.
That announcement
didn't come out the way. Didn't come out the way I wanted it to.
Two announcements came out. We are going to get, because you all were banging down the door. You were writing letters. You were really here for it. You're like, you know what I need? A reboot of Harry Potter, but make it a series.
Roman Myers said, stay away from my mom. Roman, I would never.
I've lost control of the podcast.
I would
That's
never.
what's happening right now.
I love all moms in a healthy way. Now, if you want to love me in an unhealthy way, that's just a different discussion we got to have.
Doug,
I've discovered several kinks about myself. And one, I like older women. I do. I don't know where it came from. I didn't point it out. Doug pointed it out. And ever since then, all I can think about is women who are maybe 10 years older than me.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're not here to kink shame. We're not here to tell you what you should like and shouldn't. But you know what I don't like? Reboot of the Harry Potter series, but make it a series.
Yeah. Yeah. They're starting
thank
over. You. It's a part of David Zaslav's new method for HBO Max, apparently, when I read the article. And so they want to do each season will be a book.
Yep.
So, and it'll essentially be 7 seasons. So they're going to go book by book. And I guess they're just going to start it over.
I don't want this.
You can't tell me this isn't because of Last of Us. Like, you can't tell me it's not because of the success of Last of Us. And Last of Us means they're probably going to try to extend that to 4 seasons somehow, some way.
I could see it being like it's partially Last of Us and also Hogwarts Legacy being top of pop culture mind at the moment and people revisiting.
And they can't do anything else with Harry Potter? Like, damn.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I would take a 3-part series, but it's before Harry Potter. Like, I would take the events leading up to his parents dying. Like that, I would feel is interesting.
I would do the Lost Son. I mean,
the Cursed Child.
The Cursed Child.
I would do the Cursed Child.
Man, that's a trip. I mean, of course. So this came from Bloomberg recently. Mm-hmm. And basically the piece says that this is going to be announced like within a week if they can lock down J.K. Rowling, because apparently they need, the way the contract is, they need her blessing to make it. And if they make it, she has to be involved.
What?
So yes, basically the way the article phrases it is that if it does move forward, J.K. Rowling said like, I have to be involved. So it's like, they have to be, I guess, and apparently it's a part, like a cornerstone of the new HBO Max streaming strategy, which I'm like, like this, like you haven't even finished your, boo. That's our Chiron. Like you haven't even finished this Fantastic Beasts nonsense. Not that you need to, but like you didn't even make a determination about it, but you're already going to go back to the well of the first like 7 books. Like nobody wants this. Nobody wants this.
Or make a comedy series about Rick, who's a 35-year-old man who's losing his hair, who figured out that he's a wizard too late. So he has to go back to school in a Ladybugs-esque Rodney Dangerfield style comedy about Rick from Staten Island who gets into Hogwarts. I don't fuck around with this shit anymore. Like, I don't care.
You dated yourself a bit there, but you're right. There are so many different paths you could take. The one thing that just behooves me a little bit is the non-creativity behind Harry Potter.
Yes.
Like, they tried Fantastic Beasts, and I'm not sure. I thought Fantastic Beasts was going to lead into Harry Potter. I understand young Dumbledore. There's a ties with the younger versions of these characters.
Sure.
Why haven't we gotten a young Snape movie? Or why haven't we done what Doug mentioned this before? Of like, what happened to the events that got Harry Potter family killed? Like, why haven't we talked about Harry's father and his mother, like doing a series about that? I don't understand why we have to reboot things completely. Like, we're running out of creativity.
You could do a cop procedural called The Aurors. And it's just people walking around England solving magical crime.
Well,
like, it's not hard.
That would be good.
Yeah. The fact that they have to go back to the well, and it's like barely 10 years. It's barely been 10 years since Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out. I feel like it's just so common denominator and bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
Like, they're just so desperate to get these dollars, and like, I mean, it might have some credence to it. Like, I can understand why you would want to redo it, but like, not 10 years later.
So you just did a reunion on HBO Max
last year.
Last year, you just did the reunion of the.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and the fact that they didn't even learn anything from like The Last of Us, like, it feels like they're learning all the wrong lessons. Like, people liked The Last of Us because it was an adapted original story. Like, you're really gonna go back to Harry Potter? That like we've done that.
She ain't writing new books, y'all. Like, this ain't different. No. Like, it's the same thing we read.
I also don't get why they're doing this, because they know that there's gonna be all this crud. Like, with J.K. Rowling, she has very transphobic views, harmful views, and you're inviting all of that, and people are gonna make sure that they know that they don't.
You're
like
right,
it.
Brian. It is a different time.
When
the first book came out such a long time ago, I had braces when the first book came out.
Oh yeah, I was in middle school. Yeah.
So when that first book came out, we all didn't know because we didn't have the ability to know at that time.
Well, she didn't share those views until after the books came out.
And so there's no way we can revisit that from day one,
right?
Without, because here's the thing, and this is the other thing that pisses me off. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm all for representation, but I feel like sometimes there are folks who lean into representation for the sake of it being representation. So you know what's going to happen is that this time they tell the story, there are going to be a ton of trans characters that are on the show just to be like, she couldn't take care of what we thought. See, we got you. And it's not going to be genuine, and it's going to be bullshit, and it's going to make me mad. Like, it's going to make me more mad seeing it than being like, where I'd be like, you know, hey, good for you guys. Thanks for doing that. Like, it's going to take all of the power out of that representation because of the stain that's on the original.
Being a token, like tokenizing it. Yes. Absolutely. I agree.
Yes. The other one is Dwayne The Rock Johnson's big ass showed up on Instagram today to tell me that he was doing a live action remake of Moana. And he brought his kids along, so that was fun. And he kept throwing out Hawaiian words because, in case you forgot, that's a thing that's a part of who he is. And so it's just, I just don't like. I don't know what to say. But when you're like, look, there's one thing that I love to do, and I love to talk about the ocean and the mana and the spirit. Hey. And if you haven't tried Zoa energy drink, is on the shelves, and we're gonna bring some of that Zoa here because Disney's letting me do this live action. Like, fuck off! Like, just give me the announcement. Do a press release.
Can I give you an unpopular opinion?
Yeah,
sure.
I enjoy when he talks about his family. He did a cute little video with his daughter of them.
I love that.
The traditional dance with his grandmother, him slapping the ground. And, you know, I do like when he talks about his heritage more, because it doesn't make me feel like he's this piece of paper you can color whichever way benefits whatever he's got to promote. As far as the Moana, I mean, Doug's impersonation was spot on. The Zoa and the water.
I'm gonna get really good at it.
That was spot on. As far as the announcement, I don't know how to feel about it. It's so quick. I guess it's my same complaint that I have about Harry Potter. Moana just came out.
Yeah, like 10 years ago, right? Like
it just came out. Wait, 10 years ago?
Less.
I was about to say
2016. It's been 7 years.
Damn.
That's
sad.
It's upsetting to me for some reason. Also, I want to say I don't mind it when Dwayne Johnson talks about his family. I actually think that's like one of his strengths, to be honest.
Yes.
Like when he's genuine and authentic. I love that. You can talk about your family all day. I love that for you, Dwayne. But like I do think it's like I saw this announcement on Disney's Twitter feed. So it was just like, who's doing this? Is Disney like, yes, we are old, Roman. Join our Patreon, join the chat. You can tell us we're old. Yeah, but like, did Disney drag out Dwayne Johnson? Look, times are tough. Okay, there's a recession coming. Ron DeSantis is trying to make up laws to get our tax status revoked. Can we do Moana again? And he's probably like, okay.
Hey, did you hear about how Disney fixed that though?
Yes, they did. They put their board in and passed rules before, and literally were like, you can't change them for 30 years. And they went,
they announced it, and they publicly followed everything they were supposed to, and he didn't follow. Like they announced it publicly before the meeting what they were going to do, and he just didn't pay attention to it.
No, he did not.
Hilarious.
And it's way too complicated to get into on the podcast. Yeah. But if like any of the Disney Reedy Creek stuff interests you, like please Google it, and you'll see that Disney basically is able to retain everything the same way it was before, for the most part, using super arcane rules and the British monarch. Anyway, that's the teaser. But I can't tell if Dwayne Johnson was the one to initiate this or Disney, because it also feels like Dwayne was like, all right, Black Adam knocks me on my ass. All right, we need a slam dunk, folks. What do we got? And he just like stares at Moana, and she's like, "Are you what? You're looking at me weird, Dwayne." And he's like, "We're doing Moana again."
It's like Moana's the clueless employee in the back room, like, yeah, what are we gonna do?
This is a tough situation for you.
How are you going to handle this?
I've got all of DC on my back, Zachary Levi on my nuts. The only way to fix this up is Disney.
You know what? You're right. Dwayne Johnson was awfully quiet when Zachary Levi was.
He was like, while this motherfucker is struggling with his last movie, guess what I'm about to do?
I realized one thing and one thing only. You can't back squat your way out of personnel problems, and so sometimes you just have to grind down deep, Papa Zoa, and get to work and put your boots to the ground, and we're gonna get this done with a live action. There we have it.
Obviously, he's playing Maui, right? Like,
I could be surprised if he didn't.
No, this guy gets another shot at singing.
You know what the fucking thing is he's gonna release some bullshit. This is how I got in shape to play Maui workout, and everyone's gonna be like, yes, because every time he takes a new role, he videos what goes into his workouts, and he's like, I did a bunch of calf blasters and arm thrusts, and next thing you know, I'm ready to play Maui. We don't need to do that.
I don't pay attention to any of those videos.
I do, and I'm like, I should try that, and then I try it, and my arms hurt for like 3 days.
Sounds like a personal.
It's a personal choice, but I'm blaming him.
Yeah. I'm riding with you. Get your pump on.
That's all I needed. I need people to sympathize with my poor decisions.
Yeah, sure.
I just can't think of another situation where the original came out and then less than 10 years later, they're like, let's do it again.
Remember, the most recent Disney remake we're getting that's live action is The Little Mermaid, and that came out decades ago.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think this shows that studios are like really scared of the economic environment that's going to be here in about a year or two, and they just want safe bets, and that makes me so sad because like I feel like we're kind of getting some good original stuff now, but it's like no, we just need straight money makers. So hope you like all the stuff you liked before.
Yeah, it's member berries again. That's what it is.
It's a little bit.
It really is. But gentlemen, we have a whole ass movie to get to.
Do we?
Yeah, we really do. We were all over the place, but we have a whole ass movie to get to. Gentlemen, we saw the movie Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. So if you have not seen it and you don't want us to spoil it, put a pin in this and come back later. Marcus,
No,
I would
no.
I want it from
What?
you so bad.
No.
What? Why?
Because I don't know shit about Dungeons and Dragons.
But that's why it would be better.
Okay, I'll do it. All right,
Because
I'll do it.
Bryan and I have played D&D.
I
Like
love
we
this.
know what goes into it.
I will give it to you as best I can.
Please.
All right. So what had happened was I went to the movie at 1 thinking that it was only one showing on Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
So you go and you get this movie. I may need help with character names because that was one thing.
I have the character list, so you just let me know whose name you
Look
need.
at
Chris
Doug.
Pine.
Edgin.
Okay. So Edgin is he's a family guy, right? Essentially, he joins this group of hunters. It's kind of like a Robin Hood of, I don't know, think Avengers, people that are really good at shit, and they go on quest and they arrest people. He's like the police. Okay, so he goes. Ooh, that was a bad.
Basically,
I didn't feel comfortable saying that. Anyway, he kind of goes out and he's a warrior. Okay, so he's like this warrior. He goes, he does things, and he goes on quest and he arrests people. He has a family. Okay, his wife's name. Do you have his wife's name?
I do.
I could not find that anywhere.
Name. His wife's name is nope, that's not it. I have his kid's name. Okay. His kid's name is Kira.
So he has a family. He has a wife and he has a daughter named Kira. They were living a happy, beautiful life until one day he steals a little bit of money because they weren't making a lot of money in the job that he was doing. And then a red wizard, if I'm not mistaken,
correct. Nailed it.
Kills his wife. And one thing you cannot recuperate from or come back, there is no spell to bring you back, is the stabbing of a red wizard. Okay. Correct. So he goes and there's this quest and an opportunity. He meets Holga with an H. He meets Holga, who's like his sister, and they go on this quest. Boom, they do this thing and they become like sisters and they help raise Kira together. He goes on this quest with Hugh Grant, who is Forge, and another wizard named Simon, right? And then thank you. So they go on this quest. Simon, one of the guys tell him there's a tablet that will bring your wife, that can bring anybody back to life, even if they're stabbed by the blade of a red wizard. So he goes on this quest to go get this tablet to bring his wife back. Unfortunately, the wizard that is with them that kind of looks like Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
Sophia Lillis plays Doric.
Okay, Doric is this powerful red wizard in design, right? And so she does a time stop. They get caught in the time stop. They go to jail. They break out of jail. After they break out of jail, he wants to go find his wife. It turns out his old crew is all split up, and Forge has taken the daughter because he promised he would take care of Kira. He takes her, lives this lavish lifestyle. He becomes a lord, but he's working with the witch because there's a spell that they want to release to control the planet or control that area. And in that process, Forge lies to Kira, says his daddy's a liar, and said he left her. They didn't give a fuck about her. He's trying to win his daughter back, save his daughter, and stop Forge and stop the witch with this new crew that he's assembled of rough, tough people.
Dude, home run. You got it.
Did that. Yeah, you did great.
I felt myself teetering a little bit too much into details, and that's what kind of like.
That was perfect. That is just the right amount.
No, that was good.
That was home run. But let's go through cast, shall we? So Chris Pine plays Elgin. Michelle Rodriguez plays Holga. Regine John Page.
Reggie Page
plays Zenek. Justice Smith plays Simon. Sophia Lillis plays Doric. Hugh Grant plays Forge. Chloe Coleman plays Kira. Daisy Head plays Sophina. And everybody else after that is sort of not necessarily big into it. Like they're there for just a moment. That's your big cast. This movie had a fantastic showing at the box office this week. So it dethroned John Wick.
Okay.
So it had a great showing for what it was. Definitely beat expectations. $38.5 million in an opening weekend. That's
pretty good.
Which is fantastic.
Sequel coming soon.
No shit, and would be easy to do, and would be easy to do.
Yes.
So, gentlemen, thoughts on Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves?
You know what? Simply put, kudos.
Yeah,
great job for a person who. Okay, my entire perspective is somebody who doesn't know shit about Dungeons and Dragons. As much of a nerd I am, I just didn't. I never could do the Dungeons and Dragons with all the rules, and I don't think I was ever around like the board game, and like I was never in those type of environments to learn how to do it. And I did Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards, but I never got to Dungeons and Dragons. I like RPGs. I like all that kind of shit that seems like Dungeons and Dragons. Never did it. But as somebody who doesn't know shit about it, I felt like I could watch this movie and I wasn't left out. It was just a good adventure movie. And so I just want to start there. Like, kudos on making a good, refreshing, funny, lighthearted adventure movie.
Yeah, 100%. Bryan?
I feel like this movie hurt us when we were talking about how there isn't enough like mid-budget adventure comedy action movies like The Mummy. Like, I feel like this movie heard us talk about that, and then they were like, okay, but you want a big budget, right? And we were like, nah, not exactly. But basically, it took all those like ideas that you love from like the classic adventure movies, and then basically updated it and put $150 million budget on it. And and it is a good fantasy adventure movie. And and that sounds really mundane, but the reason I'm impressed with it is because people have missed the mark on this for a long time. And it's either been too simple or it's been too dense to like for people to pick up and be able to like have like a low barrier of entry. That's really tough with a lot of this fantasy stuff, because the fun of it is being like, ooh, there's rules and magic, and like not all of the magic works the same way. And that's the fun of it, of like trying to puzzle your way to how it's going to happen. And I feel like this movie was like, okay, like we can't go super heavy on those types of systems, but we can go heavy on like an earnest story that is reminiscent of a D&D campaign of just you and your friends sitting around of how you're gonna hijack the High Lord of the area, and then infusing it with like really good comedy, and having earnest relationships. I just
and heart too. Like I think Chris Pine's character gets written off as a careless ne'er-do-well who's also a dad, but there's a lot of heart in his story. There's a lot of heart in Holga's story. There's a lot of heart throughout all of this. So to your point, Bryan, that I really like is that they did such a good job like of saying it's a little parts comedy, it's a little parts heart, it's a little parts action adventure, and it's a little part, it's just enough D&D lore for the average moviegoer to say this is fun, but also just enough for someone who has been around it for a while to say, ooh, I know that, I know that, I know that, because they reference some spots in here, both video games and campaigns that are from Dungeons and Dragons that over our heads would have been missed. But to me, I went, nope, that's a place.
Oh, I mean,
know that
Neverwinter like is a prime location that I've been to. I mean, like
it's a whole video game. Neverwinter Nights is based off of D&D, and that's the thing that's there. Baldur's Gate is a whole D&D campaign that's both a video game as well as, and several, not just PC, but Baldur's Gate had a game. Oh shit, I had it pulled up. Give me a second. I played it on PS3, a PS2.
Oh yeah,
Dark Alliance. That was a game that you played with I remember playing with friends of mine. That was all based on hack and slash, level up, wizard, rogue. Like it was based off of all
just
of
a
that.
Dungeon crawler.
Yeah. They even reference there were some, at one point in time, Chris Pine says, hey, remember what happened in Waterdeep? That's a D&D campaign. They reference a lot of different things that have happened here that are like real cool pieces that you could reference all the time. So they did a good job of like taking this and combining it all into one cohesive story. And that was awesome.
Yeah. I feel like I know what it feels like to be a non-fan of the MCU. Like there are people that watch the MCU and they don't know any of the Easter eggs. You go with them to the movies and they're like, who is that? And what does that mean?
Right.
And the only thing I was able to catch that I knew was an obvious like Easter egg was the original Dungeons and Dragons cast in the maze. Like,
I did not catch that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're the ones that got caught, but they were dressed like the original movie or some original
maybe the like advertising, but like with the corny hat and like
Oh, I totally. That's really cool.
I saw that too.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was dope. But other than that, when I tell you I don't know shit, I watch people do fantasy high. Like there's a guy named Brennan
Yep.
Do you know who that is? He's 100%. Really good. Brendan is hilarious, right? And they do these, what do you call it, Doug? D&D sessions? Or what is it?
I mean, they're playing storylines. Like they're just playing out these adventures over multiple weeks. They'll say, like, hey, we're gonna play for a couple hours, we'll get as far as we can, we'll stop, we'll come back next week. I would say it's very the easy there are campaigns that you could do that take 3 hours and they advance relatively quickly, but then there are campaigns that take people the better part of a month, like where it's like every week it's 2 hours every week.
I mean,
and it's just advancing things forward.
There are people I knew people that would do one for like an entire year, and like their equipment and their gear would level up with them. And like, I remember one time, I'll try to make this story short, but basically they've been playing for 6 months and something happened where it was like, well, I lost this sword of like 1,000 knights and I can't use it anymore. And I built it up over 6 months. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that would break my heart. Jesus. So like, it can get super. I know people during 2020 got really into D&D, and some people had those campaigns going.
We have 3 friends, Andrew Quist, Sam Angel. Shout out to Andrew and Sam. They play pretty regularly. I've participated in a campaign Chris Schultens did on his Twitch stream.
Yes.
He was doing fundraising for charity. I brought Tito Fuentes out of my tome of D&D characters. And here's the thing I enjoy about it. And this is going to go in a separate tangent from the movie. This is what I like about it, is that what I like about D&D is that I can be super serious, or I can be the dude that's just there to fuck shit up. And I have a place still. So because those that don't know, Tito's just there to cause a ruckus.
Yeah.
He participates.
Chaos.
But he's just, Tito Fuentes is there to just mess stuff up. And also for those that don't know, when I get really drunk, Tito comes out and that's my drunk alter ego.
And I can
back to the movie.
I can connect this. Because
please.
When Roger Jean, I'm totally blanking on his name now.
Zenek?
The Bridgerton guy.
Yes.
When he shows up as the paladin, and I think it works on so many levels, because on an audience level, if you don't know anything, you're like, who's this guy that's like super serious? And like, he is just too much.
He's the through line.
And he played this character, like Roger Jean Page, absolutely nailed it, of just like, you're this paladin that does everything right, and it's so annoying. Like, you are so annoying, but we can't do this without you because you're the only person that knows how to get there. And I enjoyed that, because I feel like in a lot of movies it centers on the paragon, it centers on this paladin character of like, they'll always do the right thing, and it puts you in more of like a regular person's shoes of like Chris Pine. It's like, man, this guy's like a kind of a jerk. I don't know if he's being a jerk.
He's kind of a buzzkill. Like he's
kind of. I enjoyed him.
Well, he's great, but in that team of 6,
right?
Everybody else there is like having fun, enjoying themselves, just trying to make it, not being perfect. And then here's this dude that's like, here are the rules, I follow them, I know all the backstories and all of this, and it's like, we don't need to do that.
And so like, it works on an audience level, right? But like on a meta level, I have definitely played Dungeons and Dragons with somebody playing this character, and it's like, can you not do this for like an hour? Because like you have this code, and you're not gonna steal from people, and we gotta like get to the next town. And I just thought it embodied that idea really well. And I also loved the gag of like, oh, is he gonna go around the rock? Is he gonna go over the rock? Kind of like reminding, it was reminiscent of like a video game NPC a little bit, of just like, he's just gonna like walk away at the end of the night after barely surviving. He's just gonna walk away into the sunset. Okay, that's weird. So I enjoyed that.
As did I. Marcus?
I'm confused. I just enjoyed the movie because I honestly, I feel like I knew when I was watching this, I wasn't going to have much to contribute, because as you like, I couldn't catch the things that I feel like I was supposed to catch.
There's a lot.
So for me, I'm just watching this from the most simple plot. I think that it was a funny movie. I put this in the chat. I love when Chris Pine plays a really good hero. Like he just he is the hero of all heroes, even in Star Trek and all of those. Like he just does really well at that. I also think that the full cast was really had good, really good chemistry together too as well.
Shout out to Michelle Rodriguez. Like I wouldn't have expected her. Usually
Cooper also popping up.
Yes, and Bradley Cooper randomly being in there, but Michelle Rodriguez is typically like super serious Dom Toretto's wife ? And so he's like, I don't know, but typically super serious. She's always like the super actiony hero person, and I really appreciate the fact that we got to see it. Like both sides. She got to do her action stick, but then she got to play some comedic portions of this that were really great. So not lost on me, Marcus, at all. Like the cast had such a good chemistry.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by like this movie could be earnest and funny at the same time, because like Michelle Rodriguez actually like got to do more than just be like the tough chick who beats people up. Like she got to like be like, I'm a divorced person and this hurts and I'm going to show that. Yeah. And then honestly, this movie won me over when she came out of the house and Chris Pine was just there strumming his lute. And I was totally expecting like a Marvel-esque type joke of like rolling eyes or like, oh, if you did that as well as you played the lute, we wouldn't be in this situation. But she like sang along and it was just such an earnest, heartwarming moment that made me happy. It was like a warm blanket. And I was like, okay, this movie knows what it's doing and knows how to be different and how to have these really cool action sequences and also be like, these are people. Like these are earnest people trying to like get their family back together, and that really connected with me.
And I think the other thing that the writers did of this movie really well is they gave space to play out the backstories of each one of these characters without it being marred or bogged down in exposition. Like I think about Sophina, she was the one who could change. We got her backstory in 30 seconds or less. Like it was, I was outcast. I joined this family. I'm taking care of this family because they're the only ones who've ever accepted me. And what are we doing? Like, and it was just like, we didn't need to do, this movie would have been destroyed by flashbacks.
Oh my gosh.
It would have poked holes. It would have interrupted flow. This movie's ruined by flashbacks. And so the fact that they avoided it, but still gave you the exposition and the backstory you needed was just well done. Like it was just well done.
Yes, I agree.
Hugh Grant, phenomenal villain.
Yes, I agree.
Honestly, if it's kind of hard, if I have to pick, I overall enjoyed this movie. If I got to pick something that I think was me being picky, having two villains, but the strongest villain. I don't know. Hugh Grant was a better villain for me and got majority of the screen time. I don't know if I feel like they set up the Red Wizard Witch enough for me. I don't. Well, maybe they did actually. If I'm thinking on it, maybe they did. It's just
it came a little late. Like I see what you're saying. It came a little late in the movie. Like I think
the timing wise of the setup.
Yeah, I think you probably could have done that horn that turns everybody into zombies. Like you could have done that maybe a little bit sooner and it wouldn't have been there's nothing lost, but you're right. It was the pace for the first 2/3 was perfect. That last third, again, if I'm being super nitpicky, was a little like, oh, and now we know why she's there. Oh, and surprise, he's in on it. Oh, and surprise. Like it did feel like there was a lot towards the end. So
she talked to the skeleton or something in the corner, and then I was like, okay, so there's something
never came back,
right? And I guess maybe he was dead, or maybe he was the person that tried to execute the thing. It never really connected that dot for me, but it was a little late in the game.
Yeah,
still not a big issue, but I just think I wanted to say Hugh Grant absolutely killed his role.
Yeah.
You know, as a smiling villain, as I would like to call it. Like he's very charismatic. He's very, very good at being a villain. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And the whole cast had really good full circle moments. The wizard, you versus you, like that philosophy. I like the undertone stories of it's you versus you. Oh, you're also not alone. You don't have to do this thing alone. For the shapeling. What I forgot. Oh, I don't know what the proper name is called.
You're all right.
Shapely, I don't know what it was. Anyway, I had a good time. That's really all I can really say. I just had a good time.
That's all that matters. That's the other thing. And I think that goes back to the point, Bryan, you made before of like, we've been saying for a while, we just need a movie that's a good time.
Yeah.
Like we needed a movie that didn't need to be a part of some big expansive universe, but also was just a fun adventure movie. And this movie absolutely delivered that.
Yeah.
It had enough in there because there's no way you can put Dungeons and Dragons on the front of it without being like some dude showing up with his bag of dice being like, all right, fuckers, let's see. Let's see if I enjoy this or not.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like fandoms. Like there's no way you could have done this without the Dungeons and Dragons players feeling like they could go see it and see themselves in it. That's what they needed to see.
And I feel like studios for the most part have figured this out. Not all of them, WBDC, but like I feel like most have figured this out where like your core fans, like your hardcore fans, you can't make the whole movie for them.
Nope.
But you need to make them happy enough or satisfied with your movie to be your word of mouth. Because those are the people that are actually going to convince other people to go see this movie. And I think that Dungeons and Dragons could be this like anthology movie series where it's just like, hey, it's the same vibe, but it's totally different people, and it's not a heist, it's this instead, or whatever you want to switch it out with. And I think that would be really good. I think that'd be really healthy for the movie industry as well. And so I hope we get a sequel. I mean, because I think there's a lot of good things you could do with that, because I'm totally blanking on the type of movie here, but like, again, an anthology where it's just like, this is the vibe, but we're just going to switch out everybody and you're still going to have a good time.
It's a movie in a box. Like it's to borrow a phrase from programming on a college campus.
Sure.
It's a movie in a box. You have pretty much the pieces there. They're going to be a little bit different every time, but for the most part, it's just going to be and this is the way you do it going forward. Pick one of the 5. They're the next one. Then in the one after that, pick one of the original 5, have them be in that one. Like it doesn't need to be the leader of the party. It doesn't need to be, it could be the motivation for getting there. You could do it this way and it would be really cool and it would be a lot of fun and it would be a sequel, but it wouldn't be we're going to build a Dungeons and Dragons universe because they don't need to. It exists. It exists in the books that people get these stories out of to play for their campaigns. You don't need to build a universe. It's there. Yeah. You just need to figure out a way to adapt it to a movie. Yeah. That's it.
What happens next? Because usually with these kind of things, Dungeons and Dragons is super successful and you see an uptick in Dungeons and Dragons involvement. Not to mention, first of all, didn't know this was Hasbro. Didn't know.
Also, did not know that.
So that Transformers crossover, it's coming.
It's coming.
I'm totally kidding, everyone.
Optimus Prime throwing the 6-sided die.
Put the cube on my chest.
The cube,
said the paladin. So what happens next? Because even Stranger Things kind of, is that Dungeons and Dragons that they were playing?
They play it in the show, and the monsters from the Dungeons and Dragons make it into the monsters of the. I watched like 3 episodes. Of season 1.
They name the monsters in Stranger
Things
after
the Demogorgon. Yeah,
I got it. So I mean, I know that there was an uptick in interest in D&D then. What do you think happens now? Like, do you think more people get involved? Do you think it becomes more? I mean, it already seems mainstream. Me and Doug went to that Sioux Falls Comic-Con, Sioux Falls Comic-Con, and there was a whole room that was dedicated to like that kind of game, not D&D specific, but kind of the same thing. So what happens?
I do think that this will encourage folks to let their nerd flags fly a little bit more, because Marcus, I think more people probably fall into your camp than necessarily others. They are aware of D&D. They're maybe into some other, what I'm going to call nerd-based fandom, Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, DC, comics, whatever that might be, anime, kind of loop them all together. They probably check maybe 2 of those boxes, but they haven't gone over to D&D yet because for some reason that feels like a bridge too far. That feels like I don't have the
Agreed.
time. That's a lot more in depth than I want it to be.
Agreed.
I don't know the rules, and I think there will be far more people who are willing to try D&D for the first time going forward after this. They'll see it and they'll be like, I could just make that in my brain. Like, and they're like, yeah, dude, like, it's whatever you imagine. You can make it. You want to be a talking lizard? Fuck it. Go for it. We don't care. Like, there's going to be a lot more of that, I think. So I do think there are going to be more folks who come out of the woodwork and who are a lot more willing to try it. Maybe not fans and play every week, but there'll be some folks who'll be like, oh, a casual group of 4 that might want to play. I could do that.
I definitely think like the barrier of entry is lower. I don't think, and I think you're right, Doug. I think you'll probably, if anything, you'll probably see like, oh, this campaign can be done in a night. I feel like you'll see a lot of that probably pop up. Like the hardcore people, they're still going to be hardcore. That's going to be a high barrier of entry. I don't think that's going to change. But I do feel like kind of just the role play gaming mechanics are just going to get more mainstream. It's already been mainstream, I'd say, in video games for quite a while, but I think you might see it be like pop up in other stuff. So, or at least make it more acceptable. So I think that's a good question, Marcus.
And I think it also helps that you have actors like,
oh my gosh,
like the guy who played Deathstroke. What the fuck is his name?
Joe Manganiello.
Yeah,
Joe Manganiello he's going to be. That was for Marcus. He's going to be. He said like, I'm starting like a nonprofit that's going to put D&D as an after school program at schools that are in underserved communities. Because again, it's like he always talks about it very openly of like, I had a choice. I could either get into fights after school or I could play D&D. I chose to play D&D.
That's that black side of him popping up.
A little bit, yeah. He also stole a shitload of comics when he was younger. So there's that too.
He did, but he paid it back though.
He did. So like, there's a lot there.
Yeah,
I think that's also going to help, but I do think you'll see a D&D campaign that's based on this story that's written that says like, you could do this in 3 hours if you wanted to. So you too can play this, but with your own characters using kind of a similar storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a good time. That's all I got to say. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's easy. It's an easy rewatch for me.
Easy.
I almost wish that I had watched it. I wish that it came out on streaming so that I could watch it again, because or rewind some scenes, or I don't know if this will be as successful if it came out on streaming. That's the one thing I can't question.
I'm taking the mic for a bit. It's time for an informal bombastic Bryan segment. You can put me up if you want, but at the beginning of this movie in a theater, you have the entire cast of Dungeons and Dragons, and they look you straight in the eye and say, you know what? You're the real hero, a movie hero, for seeing this movie in a theater. And Chris Pine tries to summon as much energy as he can to say this awful line. Michelle Rodriguez says, hey, you're a movie hero. And all she wants to do is have the light come back into her eyes because she knows this is one of the dumbest things she's ever had to say. And I just got to say, I'm not a hero. I'm just a dude who wanted to go see a movie and it was only available in a theater. And I had the privilege and opportunity to go do that. So don't tell me I'm a hero because I went to go see your fantasy movie. Am I not supposed to watch it on streaming anymore? Because will that make me not a hero? It's just, we need to stop. Hollywood, you have to stop it with getting people in the theater and being so obsessed with it. Streaming isn't going anywhere, and calling people heroes is honestly one of the most insulting things you could do. Just say, hey, we make more money if you go to the theater. That's it. Just say it. Don't make Michelle Rodriguez have the light go out behind her eyes just to say the line for the marketing stunt. It's ridiculous. Hollywood, stop it. That's all I have to say. Just stop it.
Honestly, Bryan, you made a good point. It is a slap in the face to call us a hero for witnessing movies how they're supposed to be witnessed. That is what they told us.
Yes.
Or even who gets to tell me how I experience this? Like, I could have to work nights and never see this in a theater and have to wait for the fucking streaming.
So tone deaf.
You take that scene out and it changes nothing in my experience of the movie.
No.
Other than I'm not rolling my eyes within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
There were two parts.
It's awful.
There were two parts to this movie, like the intro lead up to this movie, where I was like, oh God. The first was, for some reason, there was a Creed 3 trailer, and there was a shitload of Jonathan Majors in this Creed 3 trailer. Yeah. And I was like, I out loud was like, oof. Like, I kind of was like, ugh.
They have put up new trailers of Creed 3.
Have they really?
Since I put it in the chat that one day.
Yeah.
All the new trailers. It used to start off with Jonathan Majors. Now they're all shots of Creed.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
And then the second part where it was like, you're a hero for seeing the movie. Bryan, I had felt the same way. I was like, no, I'm fucking not. I'm just watching a movie. Like, leave me alone.
I just wanted to spend a Friday night turning off my brain, and you're like, hey, you're a hero. It's like, no, I just want to relax.
And I don't want to hang out with the person who's like, you're right, I am a hero. Like, I don't want to spend time with them at all.
Michelle Rodriguez called me a hero, everyone.
Yeah. No, she's hanging out with Dominic Toretto. Like, she's no one's a hero. Yeah. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. I'm glad you did, Bryan. It's a great point. I hated
it so much, you guys.
Great point.
I hated it.
Any other notes about this? Marcus, do you think after seeing this, is there any part of you that would want to try D&D once? Or is it still a bridge too far, still something I feel like I have no interest in?
I don't feel like it's a bridge too far. I said this in the chat. I feel like my prior fantasy sci-fi knowledge and interest was able to like allow me to hang in there a little bit more. Yep. So nothing really flew over my head. I think I would try it. It has to be, obviously would have to be with the right group of people.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
But like I would play with y'all for sure, you know? But
I would love to make that a Patreon special.
Oh man.
That would be really interesting.
I would love to make that a Patreon special.
I feel like I have nothing to lose. The worst thing, I think I leave and I'm like, that was too much. You know, like
the
learning curve is the biggest thing. I feel like if I stuck in there, I'd be like, okay, I could see how everybody would. This is kind of relaxing, not to think about anything else but this.
Yeah, that's her.
And it's cool. I don't know. To me, one of the aspects of it is it's cool to problem solve with your friends and get creative about it, which like one of the things in the movie that I thought was great was how they did the reverse heist, how they got the picture in the wagon with the portal. I thought that was phenomenal. That was so creative. That's one of the most creative things in movies I've seen in a while. So that was awesome. But like, you get to sit around with your friends and just be like, how are we going to do this? We could do it this way. We could do it that way. And just like trying to solve this problem together. And I just enjoy that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, it's out in theaters.
What just happened?
Be a hero. Go see it.
What just happened? What just happened?
I'm having connectivity issues.
I was about to say,
I'm having connectivity issues. Can
everybody looked at each other and everybody looked like everything was fine. So then I thought I was having a stroke and was like, well, here comes the big one.
Oh, no.
You are not having a stroke. It's just me talking about problem solving with my friends.
I heard that, and then afterwards it was like a dead silent. I know the audio listeners was like, "Did nobody agree with Bryan?" Like, no, I think we just kind of glitched out there.
No,
we all said
hanging out with.
We all collectively, the two of us said, "Fuck Bryan" and "fuck friends."
Yeah. Fuck friends. Fuck Bryan.
Fuck friends. I don't need it, and fuck Bryan, and also do an issue check. Gentlemen, any other thoughts on this particular movie?
I think you should go see it. I think everybody should go see it. Even if you don't think you have an interest in Dungeons and Dragons, I think it's a good, new, fresh movie. It's not as complicated as you think it is. I think the cast does well carrying it. The chemistry is really good. It doesn't drag out for too long. It was just long enough for me.
Pacing was good.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, agreed.
Man, I'm still thinking about the practical effects and like the cat person. That was rad. I'm thinking about the eagle guy. That was sweet.
Jonathan.
My favorite part about the sequence when they throw Jonathan at the window is like the one that approved it, making it sound like it's his fault. Anyway, I'm already laughing thinking about this movie. I can't wait to watch it on streaming.
We approved you.
Oh, and they did height really well. Like Bradley Cooper is in this and plays one of the races, like a gnome or something like that, like a little, like like a little.
They never
person.
say their race.
Yeah. And so they do a great job. Like forced perspective. Holga's big. He's not. They're sharing a screen together. It's very well done. Could have been felt really fake and gross, but it wasn't. So Bryan, and the zombies, like the dead people that they dig out of their graves. Makeup was awesome.
That was incredible.
So good.
And the questions piece of that again was so fun to be like, is it anybody else? Like that's it. There's one question. Like anything else? I thought that was such a fun running gag. So yeah, I would say go see it if you can. You don't need to do Dungeons and Dragons to enjoy this movie at all. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a throwback to like, old adventure movies from like the 90s, early 2000s that were a lot of fun.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Agreed.
Gentlemen, anything that you all would like to plug this week?
Yes, I'd like to talk about thelovenerds.com. Hey, Easter's coming up, or spring celebration, whatever you're celebrating, you're probably going to need to bring a dish. There's a ton of recipes on thelovenerds.com. You can find the link in our episode description, thelovenerds.com.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bryan. Marcus?
Word. Always remember to follow the mantra, never offended, always. You know what's throwing me off? It's the awkward silences after Bryan talk. Bryan, we love you. And that silence is not filled with dismay. It is filled with nothing but
it's love. All dismay, Bryan.
It's not. No, it's not.
It's all angst, anguish, and dismay.
It's follow the mantra, never offended, always humble. We'll have some new designs that are gonna hit the website soon. There's one. Here's another. Here's all four. Oh, I meant to say this earlier. I want to see these two play this.
Oh
yeah, man.
100%.
I want to see Chris Pine,
Regé-Jean Page,
Regé-Jean Page play.
Let's do it.
Al Jordan and John Stewart.
Let's make it happen.
They have good chemistry in this. Anyway, follow the mantra, never offended, always humble. Get you some stuff off the site. Spoil one person, spoil some others with the mantra or something. There's something like that. I don't really know.
Shout out to Soltai for dropping new music.
Shout out to Soltai. He dropped thank you for that, dude. Shout out to Soltai. He dropped some music.
There you go.
Dropped a little freestyle.
He did indeed. I have this podcast to plug. So if you enjoyed this and you think someone else in your life would enjoy it, share it with a friend. That's the best way to get the word out about our pod. If you're feeling like you want to sign up for our Patreon, please do so.
Patty fam.
Join our Patty family. Head over to patreon.com/films in black and white. Link will be in the bio, in the episode description, but also in the bio. In the meantime, also, music took me off. Like, I have a script. What is it? And I was also like, what's this?
I was like, am I
Bryan. Anyway, join the Patty family. We'd love to have you. We do cool stuff up there. Bonus episode coming, getting posted tomorrow. And then also we do fun stuff. Like maybe we'll do a D&D campaign that you could participate in or make suggestions for. But that's what we're going to do.
He's really trying to will that D&D campaign.
Yes, he's trying to manifest it into existence.
He's trying to manifest that hard.
Look, I am nothing but a manifesting son of a bitch.
If we get 3 people to join the third tier of the Patreon.
That's using our capitalistic power at work. If we can get 3 people to join the third tier of the Patty family, we will do a D&D campaign.
We'll do a full episode D&D.
Fuck yeah. And we have I love that. I love that. I'm gonna drop it. But we also have a 3-step process to success.
We do.
Bryan,
yes, we do.
Care to regulate
folks,
us?
you heard me talk about reading a book, and it's pretty special because I just finished the Mistborn trilogy, and it was really good. It had a beginning, a middle, an end, and everything tied itself up at the end. It was phenomenal, and the best part was I got to connect with somebody that also read the book. So I've talked about that the past few weeks. Books, it's a great way to make community. Read a book.
Read a book. Books. Marcus, care to give us that second step?
You want to drink some water. The summertime is coming, baby, and we're going to be sweating. And remember, whatever you put in your body got to come out somehow, some way. So it'll leak through your pores if you're drinking nothing but soda.
It's coming out a hole.
Yeah. Your piss is going to be like hard yellow. Like you need to.
You don't want that.
You don't want that. That's
Nobody wants that.
That's a kidney stone waiting to happen.
1 star, don't recommend.
Oh gosh, yeah, you don't want those either.
Yeah, those are going to hurt coming out. So drink some water.
Fantastic. Look, I have the third step is to wash your ass. Look, this is going to sound unrelated. I was sweeping out my garage, and there was a lot of sand, and it was dusty, and there was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't know was in there until I got up in there and cleaned it out. Clean out the garage of your body, aka your ass, and get up in there with some soap and water, sweep it out. Get it all nice and fresh because spring's coming and you might have a lot more people in there. Like you might have a lot more people participating in what's going on in your garage. Maybe they might be passing through on their way to a party. Maybe they may be walking by. And do you want to have a messy garage? No, you don't want to have a messy ass either. So wash your ass, aka the garage of your body. It's important. So yeah, there you have it. That's our 3-step process to success. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week with because we love MILFs. So we'll be back next week for the MILFs specifically. But we will also be back next week to talk the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, fun.
That's this week?
That's this week, man.
Oh, damn.
That is this week.
Yo, we are about to hit that. We are about to hit that stride.
Off guard.
Yo, it's about to hit that movie. That movie. That
our
second
Patty
quarter.
family voted between this and Air, and the Patty family asked us to watch the Super Mario Brothers movie before Air.
All right.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait. Which Super Mario Brothers movie? The original?
No, the animated.
The one that's coming out.
That one coming out this week.
Yeah. Oh, it's a me Mario. That one.
I thought you meant the original one.
Absolutely not.
Because I didn't realize it was this close.
Me either. I thought we had another week.
April 5th. It's actively April 3rd. In fact, this podcast will come out the same day that movie technically comes out.
It's dropping on a Wednesday?
It's Easter.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Y'all, if you like all movies, we about to be busy. So tune in now, sign up for that Patty family now, because this train's a coming. And that's what we got. But that's what we'll be talking about next week. But in the meantime and the between time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next week.
I'm going to need a movie cleanse. That's a lot.
What does that look like?
You watch a movie you hate and then shit it out.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.